Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and you'll be happy to know that I've taken a different perspective on this matter of public importance. And I thank the member for Morty Alec for raising that this House recognises Victoria as a place of diversity where communities strong and equality and inclusion are not negotiable. It gives me a chance to explore the 37,500 square kilometres of the Mildura electorate and exactly how diverse it is and how much it contributes to the state's economy and how little we're included in the budget every year. So let's perhaps start in the south. I did bring the map in, but no props. Now, the Bullock Shire, which includes places like Sea Lake, Birchip, Donald, Charlton, population of that entire local government area of just over 6,000 people, according to the last census. Their economic output yearly is $950 million. How much? $950 million. Not bad, just shy of a bill. But Donald is the home of Cookers Cookies. You might be familiar with Cookers Cookies. The member for Frankston, yes, they are delicious. They're also, because they are such big pulse producers, peas, home of Pico, they are also the home of Australian Eat Well, which produce the veggie burgers for Hungry Jack's, for Nando's, for many others. All they need, they have expanded their industrial estate for places like Australian Eat Well. But what they haven't got is investment into their industrial estate and the infrastructure, particularly the water and waste management. They'd love to be included in infrastructure planning in Donald. Let's have a look at, there's other places like Charlton, of course, it's a very vast area. Birchip, Deputy Speaker. Birchip is the home of Ray Neville, the youngest ever jockey to win a Melbourne Cup. They would love to put a portrait of Ray Neville on their silo. Everyone around them's got painted silos. Birchip goes without. Although they are the home of, in my opinion, the state's, or the Australia's best vanilla slice. Snot block. Certainly the best bee stings, if you're ever there, and I suggest you do, the best bee stings. But they're also the home of the Birchip Cropping Group, who have contributed an enormous amount, not only in terms of this state's economy, but to how the practice of broadacre farming has progressed over the last 10 to 20 years. It is the way that farmers now can sow on a calendar date. They don't have to wait for rain events, things like that. All sorts of things. They're forever running trials. Had the pleasure of introducing some of the board members to the Minister for Agriculture a few weeks ago. All they want is $6 million to help BCG expand with their Nexus project or their agri-tourism platform. They've had this shovel-ready project ready to go for years. It's only $6 million. That's only 6 hours of interest repayments, Deputy Speaker. Only 6 hours. So that's what we need. In some equity in Birchip would be fantastic, and the painted silo of Ray Neville would be just a bonus. Sea Lake was home of the Mallee Rally, the home of Lake Tyrrell, of course, which disappeared a little while ago. All we want there, honestly, be great to have the Mallee Rally back. We'd just like some answers on why there's been no progress over the last 5 years. That's all we want there. No money in that, just some clarity would be terrific. Hopetoun, their netball club needs new lights. Patchywallick need the wild dog program back, because at the moment, with the non-protection orders lifted, they are losing sheep in critical numbers, and it's getting worse because these packs of dogs know now that no one's going to stop them. Who's going to pay for that? They want a bit of equity and to be included in the wild dog program because it's needed. Now, let's talk about my... Sea Lake always gets a mention because you know I love Sea Lake, member for Preston. I want to bring the Mallee Rally back. But let's talk about Robinvale. Up to heading north. Robinvale is my hometown, and it's also the most diverse community, very small community. If you believe the census, then the population is about 3,500. If you believe the council that did a population study in 2019, it's closer to 8,000. However, in that town of 3,500, There is around 40 languages spoken. There's 61 ancestries. 7.9% of the population of Robinvale identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. That's a huge percentage. The languages spoken in this order: English, Tongan, Vietnamese, Malay, Mandarin, Italian, because Nunnu is not teaching us to speak our mother tongue anymore, unfortunately. They are teaching us to make a very good salami. Thai, Greek and Fijian are the languages spoken. The Lantern Festival, this is how inclusive and diverse Robinvale is. There are cultural festivals on all the time. This Friday night is the Lantern Festival, which is a culmination of what might be held in Southeast Asian countries as the Harvest Festival. Rather than having different ones for each culture, they've put it all together. It's a beautiful melting pot of cultures put all together in one Lantern Festival in September on Friday, and the food is amazing, Deputy Speaker. Now let's talk about Mildura LGA with a population of around about 57,500, an economic output of $8.157 billion per year, and it's going up. We are the largest contributor to this country's economy. No passenger rail. The only regional city in the country with no passenger rail. We want to be included in public transport strategies that this state comes up with. That'd be great because there's not even any public transport to and from Mildura Airport. And a lot of the time, flying is the only way to get to and from Melbourne, particularly if you have to travel for medical and health reasons. There's no train and no one wants to sit on a bus, regardless of how cheap it is, for 14 and a half hours. So what we'd like to be included in is talk around the future of rail, both passenger and freight, because that Murray Basin Rail and the Maryborough Freight Corridor certainly hasn't been a success, has it? We also need a new hospital. That hospital, Mildura-based public hospital, built 20 years ago. The capacity has remained at 20 years ago. We'd like to be included in health planning. We need 30 new ED beds as a matter of urgency to help relieve the ambulance ramping that occurs there on a weekly basis. The CEO came out during the week in the paper saying that capacity is where it was 20 years ago, and he's absolutely right. We need a new hospital. We need to be included in these conversations. What we're saying, and you can see by the a few examples that I've given of the diverse communities around just my part of the state, which is a little less than 20%, so the member for Lowan tells me, but is incredibly inclusive. I can go on any given night of the week, I can go and have a haircut from a lady from the UK. I can have a massage with someone from Thailand or China. I can have a gyros from a Greek family or fish and chips. I can buy a bottle of scotch from a Scottish bloke, and that's not even a joke. I can buy spuds from the Irish bloke next door. That's not a joke either. You can have a salami that Italian families like us have handmade. So when we talk about inclusion, there is a quarter of Victoria's population living in rural and regional Victoria. When we talk about inclusion, let's talk about including the regions. Let's not talk about including the regions when we talk about Bendigo, Ballarat and Geelong, because those of us that are actually out beyond the freeways think that is a joke. That is out of suburbia. It's not regional and rural Victoria. We want to be included. It's as simple as that. I have given you the figures today, Deputy Speaker, of the figures that contribute to not only this state's economy, it contributes to your plate, to my plate. We want our fair share. We want 25% of infrastructure spend. We want to be part of future planning because, again, and I say this often, without us, in the great northwest of this state, we would all be naked, hungry and sober. So if we want to talk about strong, inclusive communities, let's talk about regional Victoria and let's include them at the table.